Purring and meowing. If you were to ask most anyone what cats do, most folks, cat owners and non-owners alike, would probably say purring and meowing. At least something along those lines. And for most people, and rightfully so, all that purring, that motor running, they associate it with a good thing. A content cat. A relaxed and comfortable feline. However, those deep purrs can have several meanings, and being able to tell the difference between a purr of joy and a purr of illness is very important as a loving and responsible cat owner. Knowing when to have a cuddle session and when to be proactive and take your cat to the vet, sometimes just based on a purr, that can be a true difference maker. We all know about the good times, but not all purrs are created equal. In today's material, I will talk about a few reasons why cats will purr when the going is just not so good. Interesting topic, important topic, and I've got you covered. Stay tuned. Before I talk about those non-happy purrs, it should be stated that cats often purr as a means to self-soothe and heal. In the same way that your cat's purrs could ease and relax you, those purrs, the sounds and vibrations, they can have the same effect on your cat. Let's start things off with stress, anxiety, high tension, perhaps even fear. If something externally is causing your cat to feel a bit on edge, your pet could resort to purring as a means to relax, to calm down. Think of it as your cat giving themselves a bit of a pep talk. If your cat is unable to change the source, the root cause of the problem, they'll do what they can to make those bad feelings disappear. As far as the role that you play in this notable reason for purring, my personal advice is to take stock of the environment. Is there anything that could be causing an issue that you can detect and visibly identify? Purring is wonderful, but if the purring borders on perpetual, your cat just doesn't seem to be pleased and the body language just doesn't mesh with a happy mood. There could be a lot more going on, certainly more than just your cat being overly content. If the way your cat is acting doesn't match the sound, then it's safe to at least assume that something negative could be the reason for those deep purrs. In the case of stress, and similar to the other notables that I'll mention here today, if the purring continues, that could be a sign that the stress is just not easing up. And similar in some ways to stress, let's talk about physical pain. Sometimes the two could be directly related, discomfort leading to stress and uncertainty. Felines are experts when it comes to masking pain. It's rare that a cat will show weakness unless they feel like they're in an environment where they can afford to let that guard down. Masking pain is instinctual. In the wild and on the land, a cat can't present itself as the weakest link. Not in a world where cats are both predators and prey. And when it comes to purring of this nature, the self-soothing that I mentioned, it could be on full display if your cat is suffering physically. With respect to what you should look for, similar to stress, if the sounds don't match the body language, this is a major red flag. If your cat is purring yet doesn't want to walk around, doesn't want to get off the sofa, if your pet is purring yet your cat's normal personality is just nowhere to be found, this is obviously concerning. Give your cat a look over. Check your pet for cuts, abrasions, and noticeable injuries. It also never hurts to press around a bit. Be gentle, very gentle, but check for any tender areas. If your cat reacts to pressure in a certain location, this will let you know that those purrs, they're not the sounds of contentment. And as you likely assumed, pretty much like a hand in a glove, it's impossible to speak about physical pain without talking about some measure of illness. Purring is a self-soother because sickness has set in. If your cat's purring is accompanied by lethargy, refusal to eat and drink, refusal to use the litter box, refusal to engage with you, it's important to be proactive and seek medical care for your pet. It goes without saying in all of these instances, don't be lulled into a state of comfort by those purrs. Not when it's quite obvious that something just isn't right. Now, as you would likely expect, there's not too much to cover when it comes to the topic of negative purring. Not too many scenarios, not too many reasons, because although negative purring is serious and can be very serious, purring due to contentment far outweighs the times when a cat will purr in the face of the negative. And for our last reason today, I'm not sure if this is a positive, a negative, or manipulation. Certainly on the lighter end of things compared to what I've already mentioned, but what about purring in demand of food? This can work in many ways. A cat could purr out of honest hunger, and a cat could also purr in an attempt to get food. If you've owned a cat for probably more than a week, you likely know there's a fine line between being hungry and your cat just wanting more snack treats. Felines, they're quite sneaky. They learn fast that humans enjoy the purrs. If your cat starts purring, well, you could let your guard down a bit because of it. And with that guard being down, could come the introduction of fun things like those treats. Sometimes, for better and for worse, cats will purr to get their way, sort of like those cute meows. Cats are quite good at recognizing human tendencies. They will learn what buttons to press to make us do what they want. And before I close things out for this topic, I'll quickly share my personal stories when it comes to the topic at hand and purring in general. One of my cats, a female named Socks, all she does is purr. This is why I really have to pay attention to her actions, how she's moving about and what she's doing, because if I made all of my observations just based on those purrs alone, I'd never know a thing because she never stops purring. She meows a ton, no doubt about that, but those purrs, you can hear them a mile away. If you just say her name, she'll just start purring. The purrs come before the meows, for sure. Now, years ago with my senior cat Burl, he had what I'd like to call a very low motor. You really had to listen for the purrs. You had to put your hand on his body to feel the purrs. Although, the older he got, the more he increased that volume just a bit. Given his age and at that time in his life, looking back on things, I'm now convinced that most of his purrs were done in an effort to self-soothe. During his final years, he had arthritis, and I have no doubt that most days he just wasn't feeling too strong. Those joints were bothering him. He certainly loved his naps, but most of that sleep time was likely dedicated to full recovery mode, purring to calm his body down just a bit and relax his mind. To the audience of Senior Cat Wellness, what are your thoughts on this topic? Did your cat ever engage in unhappy purring? Is it common? Have you been able to find out the core reason why purring as a self-soother has become common? And on the other hand, is this brand new information altogether? Were you totally unaware that purring was for anything outside of contentment? And just an FYI, it's certainly possible for you to have a cat that doesn't actively purr in the negative. Some cats, even when sick or injured, they just don't purr. It really all depends, because every cat is different. You could go through your entire ownership journey without relating to this topic at all. It's certainly possible. Your thoughts, your stories, in that comment section, as always, it's all yours. And if you enjoyed this content, please give the video a like and subscribe to the channel. I'd love to have you as a member of the Senior Cat Wellness family. And until next time, thank you so very much for watching, and I will talk to you later.